What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, and yeah, I was kind of done with Galaxy Eyes. I was gonna do the deck profile, and then it just kind of hit me, like what was missing, because the problem was I was like, I can't get any value just out of Galaxy Eyes Cipher. I can disrupt the board, but the follow up is so weak. Basically, it's Cipher Blade. Hope your opponent destroys it through battle or card effect, so you can summon Galaxy Eyes Cipher Dragon back from the graveyard. Like that was the most optimal like outcome, and even that obviously is not so good. But what's the most popular one of the most popular cards going around the format? Well, I'll show you in just a second. I'm sure I show it in this duel too, but I'll kind of go through them one by one. The deck hasn't really changed all that much outside of this tech card, so I'm pretty much done trying to OTK my opponent. It just sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on your opponent having field presence, and I'm just not. It just doesn't happen all the time, especially when you have so many hand traps in your hand. Your opponent probably isn't going to have a full board. So basically, what I've done instead is put in this new card that's really good. In any case, you'll see it in a second. But I'm not drawing into any of my play starters as of right now, but I do have plenty of disruption, and he did as well, right? He had the Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs. But I like evenly matched, especially going second. That way you can just get the most value possible out of it. Decent way, honestly, to get around all of these effects. So the new Galaxy Eye Cypher X Dragon, I think I've talked about a billion times just how good it is. I guess the cool thing is about this deck, it plays around Super Poly. I'm not sure how relevant that is necessarily, but it's still pretty good. So it didn't show up just quite yet, but here will be a great example. Basically, the ideal form of this deck is to work through two disruptions. You can't, very rarely will you be able to do more than that. But I would say for an archetype that hasn't gotten real support in a really long time, that's probably the best place it's going to be. So you see here he's going to have the Nova, which goes into Infinity. At the time I didn't know he had Ash Blossom, so I think I'm working through one disruption, which I get rid of. So he fires off the Ash Blossom. So there's two disruptions. So let's see if I can work through this as well. Pretty easily you can, especially Photon Sanctuary is such a good card. I'm just able to search this, and I did have the Galaxy Expedition. It's so important to play at least one Galaxy Wizard. I've definitely changed my mind about that. But, okay, so you see here, I mean, this is what I was normally doing. Just this and essentially passing the churn, but now, oh, there you go, Duel. This is one of the only decks as well that can make, other than Zodiac, obviously, which is going to be the main archetype to do so, but not everybody can take control of opponents' XYZ monsters and then overlay them into Zeus with sometimes 2 to 3 pops of it going off, along with whatever you have else going on over here. I'm not necessarily sure what that would be, but this is the most important part. I mean, you're essentially a great value Kroger brand version of Zodiac, going second Zodiac. Now, is that the greatest thing in the world? And yeah, probably not, but for it, it basically brings it to another level. Now, that would mean you have to start tiering casual strategies, so it doesn't make it a rogue tier or anything like that. But if you and your buddy are trying to play a fun matchup, like this is the card that's going to put you over the edge. Not a lot of old archetypes can, comfortably use all these new support too, right? In any case, Crusadia is going first. He does have a negate here, so he goes ahead and gets rid of that so I don't draw two. Going to special summon a Galaxy Eyes Photon from the hand. I did have a Galaxy Expedition. So everything's starting to work out. Pretty similar lineage here, obviously, you'll probably be able to tell. And again, it's not Zeus was not made for Galaxy Eyes, but there sure are a lot of cards that help its cause. So when Afterglow is sent to the graveyard, you can either special summon a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon or attach it to any XYZ material on the field, which is bananas. Because in this case, I'm going to have the 2 pops of it instead of just 1 when it comes to Zeus, which is really important. And then your other cards, obviously, you can just use to start popping cards. Even if he had used this, I mean, I would have gotten over him. This would have turned into a Zeus, which is really cool. So I mean, that's the idea behind it. And in case anyone needs a reminder of how good Zeus is, this is probably a great duel to show. This is not a meta matchup by anyone's standards, but this is like a flip-based deck. It does have the infinite impermanence. And it's not looks like he's not going to shotgun that off, which is pretty much a big mistake because now I'm just going to be able to finish off. He goes for infinite impermanence. I figure I should save the material because you never know if that's going to turn into a Zeus. But so the first plan here is not to go into Zeus at all because this is actually equals a spell negate, an omni negate, and a monster negate on the field, which is pretty good. He did have a Mega Fleet Dragon, which just what are you gonna do, man? What are you gonna do? I still have a spell negate and a monster negate on the field, which is most important. And as soon as I basically have to decide if I want to get rid of this value. And by attacking here, I know I'm going to be able to negate. I know this was the Morphing Jar because he added it to his hand and set it. Here, I mean, the thing I've told you guys about this entire kind of strategy in the first place was that just trying to keep card advantage equal as much as possible because you're burning through a lot of resources with the archetype. It's not, nothing does anything in the graveyard essentially, so you have to find creative ways to kind of make hand size similar, and like that's how you do evenly matched. That's how you keep advantage. And Zeus obviously is another easy way within archetype to do that. And this is kind of a ridiculous example of like if you're playing an XYZ based strategy. Well, obviously you know you're going to have quite a bit to do with Zeus here. This is the Lyric archetype. I think this was Shay's sister's archetype. It's like a girl version of Wraith Raptors. I think she only played in like one duel in the entire show, but in any case, so this guy's got 4 materials already on top of the XYZ monster. He does get rid of 1, but if I can take control of it, I mean, I basically win the game with the way his advantage looks. Galaxy Knight can get me a rank 8, which I'm going to go into none other than Galaxy Eye Cypher Dragon. That's going to be converted into a Cypher X Dragon. I do use the effect so he can't target me for the rest of the turn. I'm not sure if that's going to come up, but he had so many materials, it's like it almost just feels worth it to do so. And I'm going to finish it off with getting an Infinity. Essentially, you hope that you don't have to use the Zeus, but you are prepared to at the end of the day. I knew this Link monster had an effect in the graveyard, so I went ahead and negated that. So now I do have the negate and 1 pop Zeus, but I also take away his graveyard, right, which is really important. So he's going to try to start, going up in the ladder of his XYZ summoning, but I'm going to go ahead and say no, which would probably be the best decision here. Photon Sanctuary, again, is kind of just a 1-card play starter. I'm going to get the Galaxy Knight. So just a 1-card rank 8, which is really cool. I mean, this is the most important card in the deck for the most part, other than Photon Orbital, which I'm glad I got a long time ago. I think they're even more expensive now than they were before. I don't have the pop-up of Zeus just anymore, but I do have the Photon Lord, so I'm going to be able to negate a monster effect, so that's going to be destroyed, obviously. He goes for the Blind Allure, doesn't get it, obviously, and that's it. So here's Sacred Beast, which is probably the most serious deck that I've shown you just so far today. He's going to have a good opening, and this is Skullmeister, if you guys are not familiar, is going to be definitely one of the most important cards of the format. But so here it is, 2 infinite impermanences and a Dragoon. Can I beat that? Yes, I can quite easily. That's what you play the deck for. All of these going second cards. And luckily for me, he drives another Skullmeister. But Skullmeister negates any effects in the graveyard. So it's like the new big hand trap. I think it's been out for a long time, but I guess I could be wrong about that. All these 1-card play starters, I mean, that's really what you're doing it for. I did have the Galaxy Soldier, so I can go into Infinity here. I'm going to go take back my own Kaiju, attack into the Verde Anaconda. And I could keep the Omni Negate, but I do have a 2-bomb Zeus, so I kind of feel like there's a little more value out of that. I keep drawing into all of my going second cards, which kind of stinks, but that's okay. I'm willing to accept that, right? It does not have any negates, so I'm just going to have to go ahead and use the effect of Zeus, send that to the graveyard, and win the game. This is the last duel. It is against Toons. This is me going first, so we'll see if I can put up anything going first. It's always kind of the challenge because cards like Zeus and stuff are going to put the most work in for you. Anytime you can summon from the deck, you might as well. There's no reason not to have this card like use its full potential. You don't want to draw into these, right? You want to either get them to your hand or special summon them as quickly as possible because it's all, you know, the entire archetype obviously is centered around Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. I don't think it actually has a secondary artwork printing off the top of my head, so that's kind of a shame. I would love to see some artwork for that. Photon Sanctuary can go into a Bujin. That card can go into every play starter you could possibly imagine, which is just so cool, right? And then I can also have the effect to destroy on the field. I already used Afterglow, so I'm going to be able to special summon from the deck. I can finally get rid of this Toon Kingdom, which is like, you know, the entire reason he plays the archetype. And then one of these is going to get converted into a Zeus. I wish that anytime this was sent to the field, it would special summon Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. That way, once you use the effect of this, it could actually like bring you back a little bit of advantage. But I do already have the Galaxy Trance to my hand, so I have the follow-up play for the next turn. He's got nothing. I got all these big monsters. I mean, that's the basis for this archetype, right? Just big old boys. But this puts in a lot of work, like I just showed you guys in those duels. But in any case, deck profile will be out tomorrow for this. Let me know what you guys think about this new tech card. I'm sure everyone was probably yelling at their screens as they're watching me playing, being like, why aren't you playing Zeus? And I finally did it. So there you go. Other than that, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Hope you have an absolutely wonderful night.